I think. Oh, we're going. We're just going straight into live. We're live
All
now.
right, we're live now. Okay, I think we had
Uh,
6 people waiting, so
oh,
hopefully they got in. Let's see. Did they get in? It doesn't look like they got in, but that's okay. We're live. Uh, Listen, I'm a bit under the weather because I was at a conference with, I think, 25,000 people is what they
wow.
said. I don't know if they had 25,000. I will tell you though, NVIDIA GTC was incredibly busy.
Yeah.
Um, it was ridiculously hard to move around the show floor, get lunch, do
Really.
anything, go to sessions. And on top of all this, unfortunately, I was a greeter. This is my task for the day.
Oh.
A booth staffer, which is fine. But we were in like an anteroom or something, not in the main event, so I didn't actually
Oh.
see that many people either, which is not great.
Oh. Bummer.
Yeah. Oh well. Oh well.
Oh well.
It was pretty fun. I got lots of swag, talked to lots of
Mm-hmm.
people. Yeah. It was pretty good.
Cool.
Did you see the announcements, the keynote? I still haven't watched the full keynote. It was 2 hours long.
I watched a few of the announcements around some of the the smaller. Sorry about these headphones. I've got. I couldn't find my other ones. Um. Uh. Yeah, I saw some of the ones around like smaller boxes that are
Yep,
trying to be like about the same size as the like Mac Studio. Um,
exactly.
the one that there's either one that's a lot more expensive or another one that's a lot more expensive than
Right.
the Mac Studio, and it didn't
I
seem
know.
like it was really competing with it. Technically, it was more expensive without really being
Yeah, I'm
beneficial.
trying to think of the optimistic side here. I think as a Linux user, I think for me, a box that I could run Linux on might be worth a little bit more, but not that much more.
Yeah.
Like some distro, or there's some tunables that I really need that Mac doesn't give me, or if I really don't, was it MLX? I don't want to play with MLX. Okay, I get it.
Hmm. Yeah.
Not suffering from.
This looks goofy. Hold on, let me see if I found this one.
I feel like we should play the Airwolf theme though.
Airwolf.
Remember?
What? I don't remember headphones in Airwolf.
Oh, I think the helicopter operators had those big cans, because like
Oh, okay.
there's a term for them. I think they're Campbell or something like that. Anyway, those massive cans that they had is like
Uh huh.
here
I'm just thinking
is
Princess
what
Leia.
are those Bear Dynamic DT700s? But
Hold on.
they're DT770s. We can all see DT770
D-
Pros. Look at that.
DT770 Pro 80 ohm.
Whew, look at folks. These are nice headsets.
They were. They're not that expensive.
I mean, with current exchange rate, or
Oh
not.
yeah, maybe.
Everything's expensive in Canada now.
Yeah.
I think they'd be like $500 US, right? Does that sound about right? I
Really?
think so. Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. I've had them for
They're nice. Oh no, 260, 270.
yeah,
That's not bad.
and I
Yeah.
think I'm sure I got it
500
on like
Canadian.
a Black Friday
Right.
and I've had them for I'd say at least 8 years.
Fantastic. Now, does it help when you're talking to Claude or ChatGPT to have the really nice sounding headphones?
No, I would say it doesn't help with talking to anyone.
Right. Unless you don't want to talk to anyone. So it helps talk to nobody.
Yeah, it just because right now I've got the one earbud that's in my ear, and the that way I can hear other just the room noise
Right.
and hear more of my voice coming out of me
Right. I hear you.
versus those is like it sounds all weird.
It is a bit odd when you're isolated from the room you're in,
Yeah,
especially if there's other
yeah,
stuff going on, like a dog at your door or something like that.
yeah. But
Wow. Okay.
regarding Airwolf, the show, I loved
Yes.
Airwolf.
That's what I thought.
What was
Yeah.
that?
Yeah.
What was that guy who was in it? It was like he was in a
I don't
bunch of
know.
shows at the time, wasn't he?
The other one I liked at the time was Quantum Leap, Knight
Quantum
Rider.
Leap.
There,
Yeah.
there are a few
Was
kind of
Quantum
interesting
Leap the
sci-fi
same
shows.
time?
Yeah, mid '80s for sure.
Yeah.
Mid to late '80s. Yeah.
Um, Because there was Airwolf. I feel like there were a few that were the same theme,
We got to reboot all of these.
but yeah. Oh yeah.
Put Gen AI in the
But then,
Airwolf
but
and
then they do reboots of those types of shows, and they're terrible.
yeah,
Like
wasn't there a
they did
Quantum
a.
Leap reboot or something that was
I feel like
awful?
they did one of those. They did a
Yeah.
MacGyver, and it was
Oh, that's what I'm
terrible.
thinking of. That's exactly what I'm thinking of. In fact, and it was terrible. Yes.
And they did Magnum. Didn't they do a Magnum? Did they do a Magnum PI?
I thought there was a movie, but yeah, I'm not the best at knowing
Um,
this stuff.
and
Doesn't look like Magnum PI. I don't.
oh, okay.
Oh, yeah, no, you're right. You're right. 2018 to 2024.
And did I say Hawaii Five O? Yeah.
You did not, but I feel like that's around
But
the same. Yeah.
yeah, that was a little bit earlier. But yeah, I mean,
Ooh, there's a
I
question
watched
here
it.
about Street Hawk. I actually don't know Street Hawk, but it sounds like one
Street
of the
Hawk. That
sounds
sounds
like an
familiar
80s kind of
too.
show. Amazing. Street Hawk. Oh my, I've definitely seen this show. It's about a motorcycle. Okay, fair enough. So the trend
Yeah,
here is
yeah,
is like technology plus vehicle.
yeah,
Knight Rider, Airwolf, and Street Hawk. I like it. Amazing.
yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. I totally remember
Right?
Street
I've
Hawk.
definitely seen at least
Yeah,
one episode of
Oh,
this.
I'm sure I watched every episode.
Oh,
I mean,
amazing.
A Team as well, and yeah.
So we did start off with one question. I'm not sure if you wanted to
Oh,
handle
we
that
did.
or if you wanted to handle the compliments or how you'd like to
Hope you're
start here.
both well and not suffering from new trends. No, not that one. John Osborne, right?
Yes.
Okay. Had a bear of a time loading Misty and Olama. I'm using LMDE5 Elsie.
Which I've not heard of.
No
Full
idea
disclosure.
what
Okay,
that
good.
is. Lem,
Linux
LM,
Mint, it looks like.
huh?
So they're
Oh,
using,
Linux Mint.
yeah, and Desktop Environment 5, and LC is probably the release code name,
Okay.
if
Well,
I Googled
can't you go with
correctly.
something normal? Um, okay.
I see what's going on
Appears
here. Okay.
Olama is not included. Olama is included in Misty. If
But maybe it's not for that distro, I think is what they're saying.
I don't think they offer a distro without Olama in it.
Yeah, we're going to find this here. No. Oh,
So if you
interesting.
go to downloads, and then Linux. I don't think they have an install that doesn't include.
Yeah, Mint is Debian, right?
Huh?
Mint is Debian, I believe.
Oh,
Debian? I think so. I think it's based on it.
concerning canvassing users on onboarding issues, I'm still having app image user issues and on and on. Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, yeah. So
App image, I've never. I mean,
yeah,
I feel like
that's
every time I've
actually
gotten an
maybe
app image,
mhm.
I was like, okay, well, I don't even know how to use this. I've
It's
never been
over.
able to get it to work.
I have
But I see that they also have Deb packages.
right, which may be the recommendation here is to not use the app
Yeah.
image and maybe use the standard Debian
I don't understand. I mean,
package.
I've never seen app image work. I mean, I guess it
definitely
works
have.
for some people, right?
Okay, I can give you one example, and if you haven't tried it, you should try it. It's called Beyond Compare. It does ship as an app image, and it
Okay.
ships really well. But that's Scooter software. I feel like they make pretty good software. So for
Okay.
me, that's definitely worked across most Linux distros. But John, I feel like what Matt and I are saying here is that app images is generally it's newer and it can be a little bit more opaque. The Deb installer might be your best bet.
Yeah, yeah.
Let's see if I can find it here. Because I think it's just on their website, right? Yeah, it's just under download. There we go. Right here. I'm just gonna pop that into the comments if we can for John. All right, what have you been up to, my friend? You're streaming a lot again.
Yeah, I know. I was streaming a lot. I'm definitely streaming. Occasionally. I definitely had a stream with. I think by the time I was done, I mean, I kind of averaged around 80 people on the stream at all times. And and by the end there were like 800 people had watched it, and go because I was on for like 2.5 hours.
80 is really impressive, I think.
And it was what was especially weird about, oh yeah, my god, what was especially amazing about that was that I was going to do look at was it Gemma 3.
Yep, Gemma 3.
And I the was it Gemma? I think it was. Does
I think
Gemma
that's
come in
in-
like a one something 120 kind of size?
Yeah.
Um,
Were you running on
so
the
it's something that-
GPU machine?
It's something that I can't possibly run on my own
Oh,
machine, so I'm
okay.
using on that machine up in the cloud, and everything was great, and then it wasn't. And then all of a sudden, I come to start the stream, and I like make sure everything's all good to go. I've tested everything, a
Right.
bunch of times. I'm connecting to a remote machine, so it shouldn't matter.
Yeah.
Everything's working on that remote machine, all good. My internet's working fine. I come down to this machine, I start the connection, and it just hangs trying to get the connection.
Oh, no.
And Brev's shell, basically, they're doing some creative tunneling to Cloudflare, and that's how they kind of make things available.
Gotcha.
But the tool, for some reason, there was a glitch where it wasn't synchronizing the proxy command that needs to be
Oh.
run, and I didn't realize that was.
Yeah, you
It took us a while to
yeah.
troubleshoot, but we troubleshot it on while I was actually on the stream.
That's kind of that's kind of fun.
Well, I mean,
That's
except it was sort of, except I couldn't really show people because it was a text messages to just it's. I was sending text messages to the kind of the CEO and one of the support guys, and so I can't really share. Oh, you've gone quiet. You went quiet.
I think it's because I'm muted. How about now?
Okay. No, yeah, that's better. Yeah, mute does do that.
It's weird.
So yeah, I was texting back and forth between them. I don't really want to. I can't
Yeah.
really share that.
no. Yeah.
And it turned out I did, but then I had to like pull the stream and my recording and like blur out large sections. So I don't know if anybody saw it, but yeah, so that was kind of fun.
I've certainly made mistakes streaming before.
Yeah. Oh my
Happens
God.
to us all.
Yeah, my favorite mistake was when I was still at Microsoft. The company had just acquired the Israeli company that had it was like their firewall product, ISA, I think.
Yep. ISA was Whale Security back in the day.
Was it Wales? Is
Yeah,
Wales
Wales.
Israeli? Okay.
Yeah, you're really plundering
So-
the depths of my brain at
so
this point in time. But yes,
we were-
before ISA, I think it was called Whale.
Okay. So, one of the guys, I was in state and local government sales engineer, and we were there as a group, and my manager was there, and she is like a former, I think her previous role was CIO for state of Arizona. So, I mean, like, she's been in important things.
Right.
So Javi's up on like in front of everyone, showing all of us ISA and how cool it is, and he like goes to a very questionable URL, but of course it's going to be blocked by the system, and so he
no.
goes to this URL, and then he keeps talking about whatever about the features of this. The whole time the
no.
site is right there, up on
no.
the like.
Oh no! This is
and,
why you
and
record your demos.
everybody's just laughing. It was great. So that's the kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah, dry runs, demos,
Yeah.
record, backups, all
yeah.
that stuff.
Yeah.
It's also handy. I have two monitors, right? So you can do stuff on one screen and move over. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, I had this broken stream. Well, I couldn't do what I wanted to do, and I ended up spending an hour and a half trying to figure out what's going on. So some of the time, texting with them but also answering questions at the same time. And also, so there's a lot of, I've looked through the recording and there's like so much dead air. I was able to, without deleting any of the actual content, I
Yep.
was able to get it down to like 45 minutes or so, or not
Oh,
55
phenomenal.
minutes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So yeah, that was
And
interesting.
did you run it through Descript? Is that what you're using, or how do you?
No, I just edit in Final Cut. I've gotten
Okay.
it so that I am I remap the if the playhead's over midway along the clip, there's
Hmm.
clip to end, I think it is, or something like that, where basically whatever's at the clip, it just gets rid of everything after, or
Nice,
gets rid of everything before.
nice,
And I have both of those hooked up to G and H.
perfect.
And so JKL to go forward and back real quick,
Hmm.
and then G or H, depending on where I
To
am.
trim, yeah,
And then, one key to now add a transition, like a flow transition, so it kind of almost hides the transition.
gotcha. Yeah, when I found out about ripple editing, it was game over. And ones that don't support it, it's like, why would I
Yeah.
even use this kind of thing? So
So
trim and ripple edit is like that's my
so
that's my
for
workflow.
me, it adds if it's a well, if it's a 10-minute video, I can get through it in about 10 and a half to 11 minutes of getting rid of the extra stuff.
Mm,
The 2.5 hours, it took me probably about 30-40 minutes to get rid of the extra stuff.
that's not bad.
So I can do that really, really quickly. And there's other tools for doing that, like automatically AI
Right.
tools. Gling, I want to say, is one of them. And it is terrible compared to what I can do in myself. It takes longer to do,
Right.
and the results are awful.
I use Descript, but like it takes about 20 minutes to export.
Yeah.
It feels like the export process
Well,
is really
this
slow.
Gling, I did that, and for a 10-minute test video,
Hmm.
exporting from Final Cut. That 10-minute video takes about
Yep.
3.5 4 minutes
Oh, that's not bad.
at 4K, and with
Hmm.
a decent amount of effects, without any effects, just their cut. Exporting from them, it I had about 600 gigs free on my disk. It stopped because it used all 600 gigs
For 10 minutes?
for a 10-minute video.
Was it exporting ProRes 422 or something, or
No,
444? I guess.
4K, just normal what it has.
What? That doesn't sound right
And
at all.
that stopped after 90 minutes. 90 minutes, it got about, and I think it said it was only at about the 50% mark.
This is called Gling? This sounds
Gling.
horribly
is
busted. That's got to be a
terrible.
bug. Yeah, I would. I mean, listen, you've already walked away, but that sounds like a bug report to me. That's ridiculous.
It was awful. I mean, now I think most people, the way to use it is you do this first edit, which isn't that good, and then
Right.
you export it to Final Cut or to DaVinci or to any of these, and
And
that
then get
export takes like no time at all. There is no time. It's how long it takes to write a XML file, because it's all what all these things use.
Yeah, are they like a sidecar or something like that? I forget what those XML files are called. Metadata sidecar, something like that. Is that the same for
No, I
video?
mean I think the project, it's most of the project within FCP XML is just one XML file.
Oh, gotcha. I was thinking of like sometimes you get like a sidecar and then I guess it's a proxy, so you can edit using proxies and stuff like that. My camera does it. I don't use them for anything, but I never know like what's this XML file? What's this tiny
Well,
MB4?
but then what gets exported from there is just the original file that you provided is in that
Gotcha.
project, or in that. It must be more than just an XML file. So it's that one file with the cut points already, saying, a file declaring where those cut points are.
Gotcha. Yeah, so the compliments in the chat are like, "Hey guys, Matt, love your videos. We run a growing AI company in the UK, and we found your content very informative. It just careful, folks. Like the window that Matt's got can only handle a head a certain size. It'll grow out of the window.
How have I not found that message? I think it's that's an important one to highlight.
Yeah, and the one
Um,
before that was throwaway. It's something about you being the man, or I don't know.
oh, okay. Oh, that's good. Let's just keep this one on
Oh, there
screen
we
for a
go.
while. Um,
Thanks, Dave. We appreciate it.
uh,
So I did play with Gemma 3. I was expecting there
uh-huh.
to be, because it came in a few different
Mm-hmm.
weights or size, a few
The
different parameters, I suppose.
sizes, yeah,
Sizes, yeah.
parameters, yeah.
One of them was 1B, which I have not tried, but I was playing around with the
Mm-hmm.
7B one, which is actually pretty good. They're comparing it
Mm-hmm.
to Llama 2, though, and I'm not sure if that's the right comparison. It's about as good as Llama 3.2, is what I found.
The larger one.
Yep,
Um, hold on, how big is it?
because there's a
Hold on.
really big one that I could not run.
So Gemma 3. Oh no, it's 27B.
27B, okay. And I was using
Okay.
7B version, I think. Or maybe
I
12B.
must have been doing a
It's smaller.
different model in that stream.
It's
Maybe it
it's
was
all
that.
right. It's got a lot of
Um,
safety mechanisms, let's call them, that
hmm.
I've run into a few times, not doing anything like remotely bad, which is surprising.
Right,
But I wasn't asking it to rob banks or whatever. But
right.
it's really like very, very safe, which is good actually. If you're trying to productionize something like this with a model, that's maybe what you want from a hosted model. And it's maybe not what you want offline, but in terms of online, it actually does seem like it's got better. What do you call it? It's like guardrails, I guess, in the model, so it's a little bit easier to use in something like a sensitive situation. Is what I was saying.
Right. Oh, it was Command A was the
Oh,
model that I looked at last time.
I've not heard of that one.
Um, I or was it?
From
No, no,
Cohere?
no. That no, no. It was. Hold on. What was the last live that I did? 2.5 hours.
This guy,
Yeah, 2.5 hours with Command A.
Command A, right on. So
Yeah,
Cohere, yeah.
yeah,
Max performance, minimal compute from March 13th. So yeah, about 2 weeks ago.
yeah.
Right on.
Um, and that was. Oh, I'm playing. No.
It's pretty good at
Um,
math. It looks like interesting, better than DeepSeek and 4.0.
it. Yeah, it's pretty good.
Pretty good. You don't do
It's
a lot
got
of
this
math, but you
horrible license.
you're a
It's got this
TypeScript coder.
horrible license.
What's the license?
The license is non-commercial. I mean, it's fine. Creative Commons non-commercial, but
Yep.
the problem is that on their blurb about it, they
Hmm.
pushed the idea that this is a enterprise model. It's for enterprise. You
Interesting.
just can't use it in enterprise.
Yeah.
Um,
The licensing thing, uh, I want to say that when I'm looking at a lot of this, I'm trying to think of a positive spin for this, but basically when I'm playing around with like Windsurf or Cursor or
mhm.
somebody like Replit and stuff like that, the licensing is an absolute mess. Just like
Yeah,
all types of libraries just thrown into this
yeah,
salad of stuff, and it's like, I mean, it works, but you can't just be willy nilly
yeah,
mixing all these licenses together. So I
yeah.
started writing like npm audit extensions basically to
Mm.
start auditing
Hmm.
licenses and stuff like that using Datadog's SBOM tool. There's ones that
Right.
their PyCyclone is what it's based on, or Cyclone DX, I think is the big one. It is it's a minefield, let
Yeah.
alone the packages they suggest that are ancient, and on top of
Hmm.
which there's this entire like Next.js, shoot, I've forgotten that Netlify snafu
Right.
that happened over the weekend that only solidified my opinion on this. But like anytime you've got like this 1 shot kind of code generator thing, I'm now inherently suspicious about all the
Hmm.
packages, not just on the licensing side, but also on the vulnerability side. npm audit is actually my friend now. I kind of love it. It's
Hmm.
amazing. You can add little. It's just like a little bash script, basically. It's in TypeScript, but yeah, it's a little script that you can get to run through all your stuff, run different tools, and it's it's a mess. It's an
Right.
absolute mess. Anyway, ripping and replacing libraries is something that I didn't realize I would need to do. I'd forgotten that this is something that people do in the npm world, and yeah, I spent like 2 days playing around with
Yeah.
SBOMs and licenses and compatible licenses. But I ended up having to write rules saying like, please pick MIT BSD, Apache, license, things that are compatible
Right.
basically within that
Right.
family.
Right.
If you got others in the chat, let me know. But those are the three that I was kind of working around with.
Yeah. Yeah. And when there's somebody, I think there's a different topic.
Well, someone in the
But
chat said I could roleplay with Gemma, so maybe that's what I'm missing.
no, I'm really
I
impressed with
need
Gemma. I think
Bill Burr should write
I
my code, I think is what they're saying.
I find in for a lot of things, Gemma blows away DeepSeek 641,
Oh, it's way
671.
faster. Yes,
Way faster, and the answers are better.
Yes, would agree.
Um,
And DeepSeek,
and
as much as I love it, will still answer in Mandarin, like straight in.
oh yeah,
Like
yeah,
10 prompts in, it's like it's
yeah.
game on. we're learning Mandarin.
I'm really impressed with Gemma. And then recently, I did a video just last. I think. Oh, I released it yesterday
Right on.
on Gemma. Did you? I don't suppose you saw it. No,
I did
based on
not.
your reaction.
Yeah, there's
So
there's too many
there-
mats on the internet talking about AI.
there are. They all suck. So there's a video I saw about a year and a half, maybe more like 2 years ago, where the guy had a picture being taken of him every 10 seconds or so.
Okay.
And then that would be sent off to a model that would recognize what was going on in the picture, and then have 11 Labs generate David Attenborough's voice, and
narrate his life.
here is a prime specimen of Homo sapiens, and basically I recreated that using Gemma 3 27B.
That's cool.
And it worked pretty well. And
Where were you running
so-
27B? Because I think that's a bit larger than what I can run. Were you running on
I
the
was
multi-GPU
I was
machine,
running it
or-
on my big machine, yeah.
Oh yeah, makes sense.
But I can run it on my MacBook Pro as well.
Oh really? Okay, maybe I should try it again because I think when I tried to load it, it didn't work. But that could have just been me. But I was able to get the 7B to run, no problem.
Yeah.
Very cool.
So yeah,
And have
and
you-
that's how it was fun.
Have you tried the Manus yet? Did you get an invite to that?
No,
All right. Are you excited? Disturbed?
No. I haven't.
It looks like
I-
a bunch of OpenAI API calls cobbled together, and I mean this in the nicest of ways. Is that
Right.
it looks like now we're actually starting to bring these tools together and use them for something cool. Is where we're at now, and I think there are probably going to be others doing the same thing, but they're pretty
Right.
open about how their tech stack works. Seems pretty cool.
Yeah. There's a question: does Gemma support tooling? So the answer is sort of.
Oh, okay.
So it depends on. So one thing that a lot of people misunderstand is that when there is a model that supports tooling, has tool support, it has been fine-tuned for to respond better to requests for tools and spit out that
Gotcha.
response. All the models, no matter whether it's has tool support or not, they all act the same way. There's a prompt. You give it a prompt. It doesn't. It's not innate. It's just text. It's the prompt that they get is just text. You give them that prompt that's just text. They will spit out an answer that's just text. Now that text could be parsed as JSON, but it's
Right.
just text. So the Ollama API has tool support. It uses roughly the same API as what
I didn't know that.
OpenAI
Okay.
uses, or I think it's similar. If it's not the same, it's very similar. And then all that's doing in the API is taking all those fields that are in the API and putting them into the prompt, into that text prompt. So it's especially a format for the prompt, and then it hands it to the AI model, and then it spits out text. And now it's up to Ollama usually to parse that out and pull out the tool calls. So before tool support was added in this kind of standard way, you were always able to add, say, I want to, here are my functions. Tell me which function I should use, and format it in roughly the same way as what we now think of tool calling.
Right.
The only difference was that it was generally more reliable before tool calling was
Oh
added.
no.
And everything since then, I mean, it's what people have latched onto, and that's great.
Right. Right.
But Llama 2 was doing it really well, even
Gotcha.
though it did not have tool support built in.
Gotcha.
Everybody likes to say that, oh no, it's different, it's so much better. No, it's not.
Fair
It
enough.
it just, I mean, especially, I mean, I haven't done anything with tools on some of these Olama models more recently, like in the last couple of months.
Hmm.
But if you compared, like, using the old method versus using the newer method, I found that for a lot of models, it was 99% reliable using the old way and like 80% reliable using the newer way across 15, 20, 30 calls.
That's awful. Yeah, I don't like the non-deterministic way of using some of these tools.
Yeah.
That's not that's not for me.
If you always need I mean, and then a lot of people will use tools with the kind of agentic way where they have the model figure out what is the right flow,
Right.
even though the right flow is known. So you should use, if there's a known
You
workflow
know.
for,
Right.
I mean, hard code that flow for that particular type of job, and it will go far faster than if you rely on the AI to figure out how to come up with this PRD and or come up with this whatever it is, and
Yeah.
have the AI figure it out. It's always going to be slower and probably not as reliable as if you just hard code that process. I mean, we've had
I
process and
Yeah,
workflows
yeah.
for 30 years,
Exactly.
but
I had so many
50
awkward
years.
discussions with conference attendees who didn't understand agentic or what agents mean. And I mean this, like, maybe I'm wrong. I don't think I am. But they were often describing workflows or processes
Sure.
or
Yeah.
just like if loops. Like this is not agentic. It could be agentic, but what you're describing is not, unfortunately. And then they would
Now,
argue with us in terms of like how we could monitor something that is or is not agentic. And I'm like, it's still got inputs and outputs.
right,
It's got a log file. Like I'm
right.
pretty sure you monitor it the same way you would normally.
Yeah.
Anyway, it was kind of interesting.
Yeah. And
We have a
I mean,
page for it. A lot of other people do as well. But
right.
demystifying agents seems to be something that we're going to have to
Coming
continue to
up with
do.
that, if there's a known workflow, and the chance, I mean, the problem is
Yeah.
if there's a known workflow for a process that people go through to I don't know, approve a document, whatever. It may be known, but it's not usually. I mean, this is the problem that we always dealt with when I was working at a workflow company
Right.
30 years
Sitting people
ago.
down and writing out BPMN is
Sitting,
not. No one wants to do this.
understanding, okay, your role. Oh, you receive documents from Fred and you give it to Anne.
Yeah.
Okay, now talk to Anne. Oh, you receive documents from this person, and then you do this type of thing. And figuring out that flow for one person to figure out is hard because nobody
It
knows
used
the
to
whole
take us.
flow.
It could take us weeks in
Yeah,
process manufacturing kind of stuff. It was awful.
yeah,
It was like pulling teeth. It was like you sit everyone down at a table and it's like, what
yeah,
would you say you do here? It's just
yeah,
that awkward office-based conversation times 8, 9, 10, 11 people. And then you go around. It's like, okay, so Matt's got the document now. What are you doing? And it's like, oh, well, I
right,
like at this point, I don't know Matt's got the document. So I don't know how to
right,
ask it. Like this is like boggles the mind. You've been doing this for
yeah,
20 years. Like,
yeah.
anyway, I'll put that, I'll
Why
put
is
that back.
tool API? I don't know if the tool API is problematic or unreliable. I'd say the model is.
Right.
That's the problem. Is the model is not always going to answer the same way, which is often a good thing. That's why models have gotten so popular, is that they don't answer the same way every single time. If you
Right.
need something to answer the same way every time, use a database.
Yeah, lookup table, something like that. Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. Yeah, script.
Yeah.
Listen, I don't want to preempt our checkouts, but I did have one thing that's a bit more of a gag. Give me a moment here. I'm gonna put this on.
Dream
Now,
bigger.
now, this is not an ad. This is from Codium. Now, the reason I'm showing this is because I thought that was practical. Could use it on the plane, no problem. Now you may not know, but I'm wearing a windsurf shirt right now, and the reason you don't know is because the logo is nowhere to be found above the fold. They thought they would go next level and put the logo right where my beer belly is, which is perfect. it's it's right here.
Wow. Okay.
Like that is a choice. And listen, I know we rail on t-shirts all the time. This
Yeah.
collar is way too small and it is
Oh yeah.
thick. This is the thickest shirt
Yeah.
I've had in years. It's like Hanes heavy duty plus plus.
Yeah.
It's really really thick and boxy and uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And listen, I'll try out windsurf a little bit more, but I will say t-shirt rating it's got to be like a
Now
2 out of 10.
I sometimes like thicker t-shirts. The thinner t-shirts accentuate or show that I do
You show
not
too much.
have a well toned. I do not have a well toned body, and so a thicker t-shirt
Like
often hides
yeah,
those
I guess that's
imperfections.
true. I guess that's true.
Those
I
two or
find that
three
just applies that.
imperfections that I have in my body.
Yeah, like the
Yeah,
torso
yeah.
and the back
This
and the
whole
shoulder.
part, the
Yeah,
front and the
mostly
back. Yeah,
mostly the upper
yeah,
area.
yeah, yeah. Um,
I will say, I mean, it looks okay on. It's just like, yeah, if I've had lunch, which I did just
there,
have, the logo's right above the beer belly, so it's like
yeah.
obvious because it curves.
So what was there was another company that used to do I think the spaceman was often in their
Hmm.
logos, not in the logo.
Astronomer.
An astronaut, yeah. No,
Was it
but it was
astronomer?
I feel like it was a monitoring company. Was it monitoring?
Oh, okay.
No, it was notification. So not PagerDuty, but the other one.
Ops Genie?
Okay, the other one.
No. Oh shoot. Twilio. I mean, they all use Twilio.
The other one.
Uh, shoot. Oh, I've used VictorOps. VictorOps
VictorOps.
is mostly orange, I think. Okay.
So VictorOps, they one year they had the machine that they had the printing press in the reInvent booth
Oh,
where they
cool.
print the T-shirt for you. Massive
Nice.
line,
Of course.
and they thought this is be great because they'll get all sorts of leads. But
Yeah.
like 99% of the people don't care about VictorOps; they just care about the T-shirt.
Right. Right.
And it made this huge mess. And the T-shirt had like there were 5 different designs or 10 different designs, and there were 2 or 3 colors.
Okay.
And then the logo was down at the bottom, right down here.
I like that. I'm here
I think that
for
was
sort of
yeah.
classy logo placement.
Now the following year, somebody else got that machine, and I
Oh.
remember going up to VictorOps and saying, "Oh, so you lost out on the machine?" It's like, "Oh, good riddance. That thing was awful."
They didn't like it.
It was so bad. It
Oh.
is such a pain to. It was like there was so much work getting that going,
Mhm.
and we were just working nonstop trying to print these, and we couldn't do like actual conversations because we were stuck on
Oh,
this
they were
damn
running it.
machine. Yeah,
Oh, I mean, I've run a screen printing machine. It's non-trivial. Yeah, it'd be
yeah,
hard
yeah.
to talk to
And
people
it was
about
getting
tech
paint
while
everywhere or dye or
yeah,
whatever
yeah.
everywhere, and it was just apparently awful.
Oh, that sounds like a mess. That's too bad. Other than that, I don't think I got very much swag at all.
Oh yeah,
Man, I don't know. There was a lot of stuff going
yeah,
on. It was quite busy. All the vendors you'd expect to be there. Microsoft was giving out candy, which felt like, I think Wendell from Level One Tech, so it felt like the free candy, truck, like super sketch. Like, why is Azure giving out free candy to GPU people?
yeah.
What's
That's
happening here? It's
what
very
kind
odd.
of candy?
And it had a long line. It was like imagine if you had 20 tubes of just I don't know gummy worms and jelly beans,
Oh,
and you just like fill up a cup with whatever you want, and people will walk around with that or popcorn and spill it on the floor.
okay.
There's
That
stuff
sounds
everywhere.
weird.
Yeah, it's just interesting. The ones beside us were Crew AI. Have you heard about Crew?
Yes.
Some of the agentic problems I think I had were the fact that Crew was right beside me, explaining to people that workflows were agents, which is like, I mean, that's cool, that's your product. But I feel like maybe one of the people there had their hat on a little bit sideways and decided to call everything agentic that
Yeah.
day, which was a whole other fun thing. Yeah.
I've tried using Crew a few times, and every time it's like, why do people waste time with this garbage.
I've kicked the tires only once. The cost is what was alarming to me.
Oh, it now costs something?
Yeah, yeah, I can find it to you, but the invocation costs are quite high, is what I found last time I
Oh
looked
my
at it.
god. I mean, last time I haven't. I guess I haven't used it in a while, but it was just a library. It just and bad,
No,
um, and now it costs
no,
money. Oh god, it's
yeah, yeah,
even
and
worse. I mean, they did raise a bunch of money, so I guess they have to.
they say on their site 40% of the Fortune 500. They said in person, I think 50%, something like that, a little bit higher than 40, but they said they had quite a few
I
people.
mean, 60%. Oh, 70%. Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, listen, it might be growing day by day, and it could be that this
yeah,
is going to be a thing. For some reason, I can't find the cost anymore, so maybe they realize that it was,
yeah.
yeah, priced a little bit too high on their side. They now say contact sales for pricing. So, software pricing is hard. Making money in this
Yeah,
industry is also hard. They,
yeah.
and I get it. I get it.
It's something that. I mean, it's great that they can scam money off of people. Great. I mean, it's
I,
as
e- uh, make that money. That's all I gotta say.
yeah,
If it's solving a business use case, make that money. If
sure,
you've got people who can't do this on their own, then it does
yeah,
seem like the easy button. I get it. Press the easy button. Totally makes sense. And then maybe once you understand the process, like you're saying, you map out
yeah,
your BPMN and like a business process model, and as a result, you decide you know what your business does, and you can then redefine the workflow. No worries.
right, right.
No worries.
So I was looking. I asked. I took one of your tricks before
Uh-oh.
of asking Perplexity, "Hey, what happened this week?"
Yes. It's not bad. It just don't click twice. If you click in more info once, no problem. Click twice, it just stops working. But I do love Perplexity. What did it have for news this week?
So it had OpenAI rejects Elon Musk's takeover bid.
I mean, again, okay,
Did that? Okay, that happened.
that was a
Okay,
while ago. Yeah,
was it? Yeah.
they
Was it a
reshuffled
while
their.
ago?
Yeah, it was. They reshuffled their leadership. I think is what happened recently.
Okay. Um,
Yeah, and that
there
was
was
that might
the
even have been today. Yeah, it was today.
okay. And AI, Nvidia's keynote
GTC.
stuff.
Yep.
AI and energy and infrastructure. Companies like Google, Microsoft, and Amazon are investing in nuclear energy to meet AI. Okay, well
Last
they've been
week,
doing that for a while.
last week or the
They've
week
been doing that for
before.
months.
What
I
else you got?
remember I remember there was an article about a job listing at Microsoft for nuclear engineers, and that was like a year plus ago.
Right. And someone in the chat also asked, is this going to be one of those things that's like a public good or considered like a utility now? Is what someone said. It's possible. Seems like we're getting in there. Neil is asking
Um,
how to get a windsurf shirt. I got it in person, but I bet you if you send them an email and say you're going to wear it to a conference,
yeah,
they'll send you one for free. Worth a
yeah.
try. They're growing. They want people to know about them. Listen, not sponsored at all. I've used the editor.
Uh,
It's fine.
yeah, I mean, I've responded to somebody getting a T-shirt on Twitter. I said, "Oh, how can I get one?" And the
There you go.
next day, or like 2 days later, I had a T-shirt FedExed overnight from Tel Aviv to Seattle from
Amazing.
Tab 9.
Amazing. And Tab 9's kind of cool. They were at the show too. I was looking for the
That,
CEO because I've met him before, but he wasn't around.
unfortunately, it was like a small, so they've
Oh,
overnighted this small T-shirt. It's like
so
I
you
guess
gave
they
it to
haven't.
your daughter, obviously.
No,
Not that small.
it
Weird.
wasn't. It was also not a great quality shirt.
Oh, that's too bad.
Yeah,
So they paid more in shipping than
they
for the
paid
shirt.
a whole lot in shipping. If I had known it was coming from Israel, I was like, no, not worth it.
Or yeah,
If
that's
you
the
have a
thing.
whole bunch, if you have a stack somewhere in some U.S. warehouse, great. Paris AI Summit outcomes. No, the AI Summit.
That months ago, was it not?
This is
Uh,
from today's.
yeah, I think
Paris
that was
AI.
February 20th. So,
Oh, okay. This is not very good.
yeah, so Perplexity has actually got like this, I don't know what they call this tab. It's kind of like a news tab or something like that.
Oh yeah.
Uh, Discover. I use Discover under Tech and Science. That's kind of where
Okay.
it actually works.
Okay.
Again, don't put
Oh,
in too
I'm
much.
not signed in, and
Ah, yeah, yeah, definitely sign in.
it
The
doesn't
other,
know my pro account.
yeah, Google destroyed a bunch of data on Google
Yeah.
Maps, for example,
Oh,
past
okay.
data. Lots of fun stuff. I think the other one in here is that there's a bit of, and this is more developing. I haven't read it, but there's some rev sharing with Llama in Facebook. I'm not sure if you saw that one.
No.
It's questionable where the revenue is coming from, but the headline is Meta's secret Llama revenue sharing agreements. Based on reports from TechCrunch, Meta has been revealed to have revenue sharing agreements with companies hosting its Llama AI models. Ooh, interesting. I'm not sure if that's that surprising, but
Yeah.
yes, here we are. Here we are. I think this is what we're into. And I think last week the news was had they like agreed that yes they had in fact torrented a bunch of books, or like the burden of proof is very very strong,
Right.
considering there are emails talking about feeling dirty torrenting all these
Right.
books and seeding them from within the Facebook office and trying to find different
Yeah.
IPs so they couldn't be identified. I mean that's a smoking gun right there. I'm not sure what's going to happen here, but like that wasn't great. And again, listen, folks, avoid the fuzz. Obviously, please don't email each other things where you know you're doing stuff wrong. This is like I got advice from a lawyer a long time ago. It's like that's a phone call.
Yeah.
That's a person to person conversation. That's a walk in the park. Like this is not an email.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a classic thing. A secret between two people is a secret. A secret between three people is not. I mean, it's
It's not a secret. Yeah.
putting discussing secret things on Signal. Not really a good secret place.
Yeah. The other thing was Proton Mail. I think came out in that the subject line may not have been completely secured. So though the email might be end to end, the subject could be
Right. Right.
sniffed out, which is not great. Again, I'm sure Protons fix this, but at the time, that's what I heard. And then the Netlify thing. Did you read it? Do you have anything on
No.
Netlify anymore? Okay, you're
What
more a reverse
happened?
sell person, right? There is essentially a way to bypass authentication middleware so that you didn't have to auth for most Next.js authentication frameworks. So you could just bypass auth, get in, do whatever, play around.
Wow.
Not great.
I mean, I have used Netlify in the past. I haven't in a while. Not for any Netlify reasons. But what was the thing with Netlify? Yeah, I don't know why I stopped. But I never paid them. I don't think I've ever paid them any money, so I don't have a credit card or anything.
Gotcha. It seems all right. I mean, I was playing around with Vercel's V0, which I thought was pretty compelling. That's not Netlify, obviously. I feel like they're
Right.
competitors, but V0 is pretty interesting to go through like a design. Right? You can say like, make me something that looks like it's from
Right.
Dribbble, and it will do it pretty well, which
Yeah.
is impressive to me because those Dribbble examples are phenomenal.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying like I'm not screenshotting something and saying make this app. I feel like that's kind
Right.
of feels kind of scammy to me because like a
Yeah.
designer designed this. But coming up with terms like skeuomorphic, neuromorphic, glassomorphic, that kind of stuff is pretty handy for these tools.
Yeah.
Makes them look really nice. Or like
Yeah.
use gradients or colors from 2024. You can like
Did-
really jazz up what it looks like.
Did you see the somebody was there was some one of these somebody was opened up Cursor or Windsurf, gave it a prompt, gave it a whole bunch of prompts, generated a kind of a SaaS like application,
Okay.
made it available, and like last week had to take it down because it is flooded with all sorts of security issues.
Does not surprise me at all. I was talking to somebody
mean,
about
what
this
was-
yesterday. Yeah,
do
it
you
leaked an
remember-
API key, if I recall
It
correctly.
could have, yeah.
Yeah. Some of these, listen, what I've realized as someone who doesn't do front end coding is like
Right.
getting your API key in the front end so you can call stuff is cool, but also
Yeah.
your users can read that API key.
Yeah, yeah.
Database creds, all this stuff. Like, you had to be very
Yeah.
careful about how you actually authenticate your browser instantiated
Right.
service that's talking to
Right.
an API. Have not found the solution yet. I'll keep prompting. But yes, I'm learning
Yeah.
a lot about the harrows of front end development.
so that was something I remember Datadog had to deal with
Oh,
for
really?
the uh, when they started doing the testing the front end. I mean,
Like
that's
APM
in
testing, that kind of stuff?
APM testing, front end APM testing,
DD
and
trace, yeah.
so there is a that's when there was an API key, but then there's also this other key that you give to that APM, the JavaScript for it, that APM
Yeah,
stuff.
so it's kind of like JWT, but it's a
Right.
what's it called? Like a public token and an
Yeah.
ID. Yeah.
Yeah.
You've only got like one half of the pair basically, as opposed
Right.
to one key that you can run around like a master key
Right. Yeah.
and or main key and open up all the doors kind of thing. It's not like that. But the problem is that people are leaking their OpenAI keys or their Anthropic
Yeah.
keys or their Perplexity keys. What was the other one?
Yeah.
Together AI, I think was at the
Yeah.
conference. All these keys that are becoming more and more popular. They've got different,
Right.
parameters, like that kind of
Yep.
thing, but they're leaking all over the
There
place.
are well-known searches for, do this search on GitHub
Right.
and you will have your list of OpenAI keys. And I mean, Datadog for a while, I mean, I'm sure they still do have a thing that
Still works.
searches that fire hose.
It
And as soon as they see a Datadog key,
yes.
block it and notify the person. It's like you've done a bad
I,
thing.
that's one of the things I've honestly been pretty impressed with Datadog for a number of years. I think it's been in place for it feels like
Yeah.
5 to 6 years kind of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you commit a Datadog API key, you will get an answer back like almost immediately, which is nice.
Yeah.
Like, hey,
Yeah.
by the way, did you know you just committed your key to the public? Like, no, in fact, I did not
Yeah.
know that. How does one quickly erase this and create a new one?
Yeah.
It's kind of cool
We've
because it
already
walks
done
you
it
through
for
a
you.
little. Yeah, yeah, it
Yeah.
walks you through, guys. Like, you're handled. Just don't do it
Right.
again.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's amazing. Yeah, so the comments are like, yeah, free VPS servers under the CTO account, all types of stuff. If you're looking for anything with like a fair amount of entropy, is another good search.
Yeah.
It's like find me strings that are over 16 characters or more, and they have high
Hmm.
level of entropy. Probably
Yeah.
going to be an API key or a hash or something
Yep.
like that. Yeah. Now
Yeah.
listen, so I wanted to my share for the week was this amazing T-shirt I got that makes my belly look amazing. What about yourself? Do you have anything on your end?
I don't think I do. We were reminded how good You Need a Budget is,
Right?
just in because we're getting all our
Why not?
stuff for time for our accountant to deal with,
It is in fact
and
tax
that
time.
was
I
super
just got
helpful.
mine. Yeah. Now, is
Oh
your
yeah,
tax season the same as ours? Because ours is like right now. This is kind of the date to get it
April
done.
15th
Okay.
is
Okay.
the actual date.
I tend to do mine a
Although
bit.
who knows in the U.S. because they have
Not gonna
like
touch that. U.S.
eliminated
politics.
all funding and fired a whole bunch of employees. There are like people who are just gonna gamble and say, "Well, I'm not even gonna file because they're not gonna catch me."
Yeah, I would file.
Like that seems like they might not catch you
Administration's
this
changed.
year,
Yeah.
but in 4 years when they fix it, they're gonna catch you. I don't know.
Administration's definitely changed. Yeah.
Yeah,
You Need a
yeah,
Budget does looks pretty cool. I use banks have like the built-in kind of
sure,
added budget
yeah,
thing. That's what I'm using right now.
yeah.
We do have two bank accounts, so it's kind of silly to have this set up twice, but that's where I am.
Yeah, I mean, it's nice having all the cards and all the things go into one place, and yeah,
Right.
it's nice.
I used to use Mint from Quicken, not Mint the
Mm-hmm.
operating system for those in the
Right.
audience. But I think Quicken, I believe, bought them out and then canceled the
Mm-hmm.
service last year or the year before. And I actually thought it was
Mm.
great. And I'm sure they were scraping data and selling it off in aggregate. It
Right.
was like
Sure.
fine. But it would grab from my PayPal, my RSPs, I think you call them 401ks, that kind of stuff. It would
Okay.
bring them
Yep.
all into one
Yep.
group to let me know what was going on.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's all gone now, and I feel like I am in need of a budgeting software that's not tied to one bank. But yeah,
Right.
maybe I need to look at YNAB.
It's pretty good. It's I mean it's complicated at first because it's a slightly different way of doing things, and so you kind of have to sit through their tutorials on how do you do this, what are you doing, but then you generate the budget of here's what your budget to use for this month, and it makes sense once you've done it.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely need to be careful of I don't know what you call it, discretionary spending, because I went to Policon prior to GTC,
Mm.
and to go to Policon in the US, like the exchange rate was 1.5 ish at the time. So imagine
Hmm.
50% added to all of your costs, which is not great.
Right.
I stayed in the Tenderloin or Tenderloin adjacent at
Hmm.
the Hilton Union Square, so pretty close,
Hmm. Hmm.
in order to save some cash, which is nice. But like Instax film is extremely expensive. Polaroid film is extremely expensive. Food in
Right.
San Francisco
Right.
is extremely expensive. I didn't
Yeah.
even really drink at all as a result. I had like a
Yeah.
couple drinks here or there, but like I was trying to keep the cost pretty low. But it
Yeah.
adds up really quickly, especially when you're out on vacation, having a good time, that kind of thing. So yeah, I
Yeah.
definitely feel like I needed like a discretionary cap, maybe not even a budget, like thou shalt not pass the $100
Yeah.
USD line kind of thing.
Yeah.
At least per day. Like let's be rational here because it adds up so fast.
It's kind of hard.
I listen, I didn't go to the Leica store, so that
Oh
saved
yeah.
me some money. Didn't go to any camera stores, in fact, while I was there, which saved me a lot of money.
So there's a couple of interesting newer cameras I
Yep.
saw. There's the newer Hasselblad, I think.
503 CX or DX or something like that. The one that's like a body that's modular, that one? Or the one
Yeah,
that's
I think
all within
so.
one body?
Yeah, the
Okay.
body modular one that looks
Yep.
pretty interesting. And then
Very cool.
the Fuji medium format.
I was just
Uh,
watching a review about that today. Yes. It's
yeah,
surprisingly small. Yeah.
yeah. I
For that cost though, I don't know.
I can't do it, but they look
$6,000.
cool. Yeah.
That's a lot.
Um,
Uh, it does feel like the 100 megapixel sensors are going to become more popular though as we get into this sort of megapixel race again in terms of
right.
like how big you can print, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Especially in terms of a lot of these cameras are starting to adopt. I think it's called the authenticity framework that
Oh yeah.
Leica had started, but yeah, they're starting to be built into a lot of cameras
Hmm.
in order to show like what is AI generated and what's
Right.
actually a real photo has become non-trivial. It's actually pretty important for journalism, for example. So you're going to
Right.
see a lot of revs of cameras that might not be like a fully different camera, but it's just a revision, which is what the Fuji looks like to me. And I'm
But
trying to be nice here, but it really just looks like you bolted a lens on a camera and shaved the grip down a
yeah.
little bit and then sold it off for like an okay price.
And then there was one there another the Sigma
Sigma
FP no
DP.
DP
Was it DP or
uh
B something? The
B
silver one, right? BF?
yeah, like all in one
Yeah.
beautiful something, yeah. All in one unit, one
The
piece
beauty
of
of a simple
aluminum.
thing is what they're saying. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, the
It
review I
looked
saw from Petapixel is like, do not hit yourself in the face with this because you could scar yourself for life. It's got really sharp edges. And
yeah.
apparently that did
Yeah.
happen. It fell out of somebody's bag on their face while they're in
Oh,
Japan testing it out. But it's quite sharp around the
yeah.
edges, is what it looks like. So it feels like to me the tactile experience might not be good.
Right. Right.
I will say I brought the Instax Mini Evo Wide with me, which is kind of a digital
Mm,
camera
hmm.
slash
Right.
printer hybrid. It was
Right.
really popular. Was able to print shots off, give them to people, and walk away, kind of thing, without
Hmm.
fearing that I don't have a copy or can't reprint a copy or whatever,
Right. Right.
what have you. It was actually quite nice. I liked it quite a
Oh.
bit. There were two other people there at the conference with them as well, but
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
it's kind of like a
You
nifty,
bonded over that.
like it's like a bar trick, you can take a photo of your server and then somebody else is going to buy you a drink and whatever. So I definitely got at least one free drink this way. But yeah,
Yeah.
if you're on a budget, spend
Yeah.
$500 on a camera and then $100 more on film, and maybe for $1 a
Yeah.
shot you could get some
Yeah.
savings off the beer. Yeah. Do not follow my budgeting advice. This is terrible. It
Yeah.
was a good experience, though. It was great to
Yeah.
meet a lot of people that honestly admire their work. I feel like shooting on Polaroid is
Right.
quite difficult, let
Yeah.
alone just getting a good print out of some of the old films. So it was kind of fun.
Yeah. And was it just the smaller format Polaroid kind of things, or were there people with the big
Yeah,
formats?
8x10s. One person was shooting 8x10 tintypes. She was
Mm.
amazing. There was a lot of stuff going on. Yeah, it was. There's a lot of different formats basically, but there were some people
Hmm.
shooting, I think 4x5 as well as medium
Hmm.
format. So yeah, it's
Wow.
pretty cool. Hmm.
Yeah, I
Very
remember
interesting
doing
stuff.
that a little bit, but only at the 4x5 level, not nothing bigger.
Oh, Tone said something in the chat that I did not know. Is that the Fuji can actually run, this aspect ratio is weird, but 65/24, so like really narrow and really
Hmm.
wide, like a
Okay.
digital X-band, which is that's a fair point.
Right.
Yeah, very interesting. And yeah, that Ko-Fi thing about the GFX 50, I think that's fine as
Hmm.
long as you're okay with really slow focusing. As a problem with the
Right.
older GFX 50. Again, listen, if you want to play around with it, go ahead. It's got video in the original, and apparently
Yeah.
the video is pretty cool.
Yeah. Cool.
Let's see. Is there
I
anything
I
else in these
I
comments that
don't
I missed? Or
I don't think so. And I can't think of anything that
okay,
I've bought
that's all
recently
right.
that
That's great.
I've been very good about not buying stuff.
That's good. Well, listen, this time I came prepared with props. Next time we
Yeah.
can maybe have you wear a mask or something.
um,
Shall we find the close stream button?
I think so. I think so. Let me see.
One quick question here from
Oh.
Nicholas. Like, yeah, it's definitely not too late. I would say if you start now, you're still
Oh
very
yeah.
much on the ground floor. Gen AI is just getting started. It's only going to get better or
Yeah.
change significantly from now. It's not going to stay the same for sure. There are a lot of things to
And
address.
and I think one thing that we've seen recently,
Mhm.
there's been enough reports that like on the programming side, junior
Right.
developers are more and more junior developers don't know how to program
At
and are
all.
relying on AI to do
Yeah.
it for them. And so
Yeah.
now is the best time to become a developer and actually be able to write code yourself because it'll become a huge distinguisher between you and everyone else because you actually know what this stuff means.
Yeah. And I
And
will
there's
say, don't
been, yeah,
go ahead. Go ahead.
no,
Sorry.
there's been a lot of people realizing that just relying on vibe coding is not going to create the next great application.
Absolutely. And Nicholas, listen, I spent about 10 years in IT support over my career. I would definitely say don't discount that. That's actually very handy to have. That
Yep.
troubleshooting brain that you've got is actually something
Yeah.
that people are, it seems like they're losing. That muscle is
Yeah.
atrophying. And I'd say remain pessimistic as you normally would in kind of an IT support background when you're looking at these tools. But remember, you can start looking at things like AutoAid. We were talking about business process workflows or anything where there's toil. You can definitely start small. And in terms of learning to code, like Matt said, I feel like Gen AI is actually a pretty good tool at explaining most code samples you
Explaining
get
it.
at
Yeah.
work. Yeah, which for me is really handy. It's the only reason I know anything about front end, like full stop, because I was not interested at all in any type of JavaScript before having something that could explain it to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, should senior developers pretend to be juniors to land a job? No, absolutely not. There's a large demand for tutelage, as far as I can tell,
Yeah.
for people who are
Yeah.
coming up. The greenhorns straight out of uni definitely still
Yeah.
need help. They
Yeah.
need help with architecture, need help when stuff breaks, when incidents happen.
Right.
Even if it's just having a level head when things are broken, that
Right.
experience is actually crucial.
Yep.
All right. Well, I hate to
Cool.
have the last
I'll,
laugh, but yeah, I think are we good?
I'll find that finish button. Here we go. Ready?
I'm ready. Are you ready?
Bye.
Bye.